Hey there, welcome. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. Look, I fully expect to piss some people off with this video. And if you're one of those people, well, I would just like to say that I get it. I understand. Whenever someone attacks something that you really like, you become defensive. It's just primal instincts kicking in. It's a natural thing. So you might have some anger kind of bubbling up right now, about to type in an angry comment before watching the rest of this video and hearing what I have to say. But let me just say something quick here. I want to make it clear that this video is not attacking the hockey guy. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't watch his videos or that you shouldn't be subscribed to his channel or that you shouldn't enjoy his content. I'm not trying to tell you what you should and should not watch. Nobody should tell you that, let alone me. Like, that's just dumb. The point of this video is just to drive home the fact that the information you get from his videos, from his channel, is inherently limited. He tries to be the source of information for all 31 teams, soon to be 32, and then some in terms of hockey-related content. To be able to do that, to be able to satisfy all the fans of all the teams, to satisfy all 160,000 plus subscribers that he has, to be able to cover all the topics that he does, to be able to put out all the content, all the videos that he does on a daily basis, he cannot afford to dig into the nitty-gritty details. Just can't. And it's not a shot at him personally. Anyone would have that problem doing what he's trying to do. We see it at the national level. That's why we don't really like the national broadcasters more than our regional broadcasters, because they make mistakes. They don't know our teams well enough. That's the point. If all you care about is high-level information about teams, great, awesome. Keep watching his videos. But just know that the information that you're getting, what he's saying, is probably leaving out some details. And sometimes those details can be pretty important to the big picture. And I just want to illustrate that with a recent video that he put out. Now, if you're new to this channel and you haven't noticed already, you haven't noticed the background or what I'm wearing, I'm what you would call a Blackhawks fan. I post quite a bit of Blackhawks content to this channel as well. So if you're into that, feel free to slap shot that subscribe button or whatever the kids are calling it. You know where it is. The hockey guy posted a video not too long ago, kind of outlooking the Blackhawks' upcoming offseason. And so I just want to kind of run through that a little bit and just kind of show you what I mean by there being some maybe missing details or some incomplete information. So let's quickly go through it.
Chicago, it feels like they're in the midst of a retool / rebuild.
So he's not wrong here. However, he's also presenting it as if it's a new situation for the Hawks, when in reality, the Hawks have been in this rebuilding, retooling, no man's land for the last 3 or 4 off seasons, essentially ever since they won their 3rd cup in 6 years. So nothing's really new this offseason. It's basically the same situation, just names and faces are different.
Now, according to Cap Friendly, they only have $7.35 million in cap space for next year.
I wish the Blackhawks had $7.35 million in cap space for next year. That's not the case. And I still need to make a video regarding their cap space for next year because it's not good. The Blackhawks are going to have less. Cap Friendly is fantastic. It's a great resource, especially for the current year. But when you look at future years, next year and beyond, like, all it can really do is give you baseline information. So the main screen where you got that number is kind of baseline. But if you dig into it and you just kind of try and figure out, okay, this is about the team that they have, you're going to realize that they actually have a little under $6 million to get a starting goaltender and then 2 more players to round out a roster size of 23. So, yeah, I wish they had $7.35 million. In fact, can we just go with Shannon's number? I'll take it.
And, of course, Dylan Strome still may very well find himself as a second-line center if Doc ends up being third line. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you can keep Kirby Doc down. So Strome, should he stay with the team, would end up being the third-line center.
Why not? Why can't you have Kirby Doc on the third line? Why can't you have center depth? Why can't you have 3 good lines? Look at the top teams in the league. Vegas, for example, they're rolling 4 lines. They have to have good players throughout their lineup. His statement in there kind of confuses me.
Part of that comes down to his restricted free agent status. And these guys are going to want raises, I would think.
So they kind of talked about how for the Hawks to even have this problem, they'd have to find a way to pony up the cash to bring back Dylan Strome, who is a restricted free agent. and that these restricted free agents like Strome are going to be wanting pay raises. And on the surface, once again, that's not wrong. However, there's some key information that's missing, especially the fact that this is not a normal offseason, right? We've had a pandemic. The salary cap is going to be staying flat for the next few years. Revenues are down. This is all working against free agents, whether unrestricted or restricted, in terms of getting pay raises. Like, this is not a good offseason to be a free agent. We have a lot of teams up against the cap, and you have teams who aren't up against the cap, but revenues are down, and they have to deal with that in itself. They're not going to be wanting to pay as much money for player salaries as they normally would. So you're probably going to see a lot of bridge deals, especially with the upcoming expansion draft as well, to kind of get through these lean times, these lean couple years because of this pandemic. So you're probably going to see some lower salaries, some lower years for these deals. For restricted free agents like Dylan Strome, he's not going to get a massive contract.
This blue line does probably need some work.
Really? What could possibly make you say that? Maybe like the last couple years where the defense has been the weak spot on this team? Like, he's not wrong here, obviously. But at this point in time, it's no longer a question. You can confidently say that the blue line needs work. And that's why the Blackhawks have guys like Adam Boqvist, Nicholas Beaudin, and Ian Mitchell, and other young defensive prospects. They're trying to fix it, both short-term and long-term.
Restricted free agents, Kubalik is the big name.
All right, yeah, I'd agree with that.
He looked excellent during the season, scored a bunch of goals, and then in the playoffs, where the hockey gets tougher, he did it as well. And he outshone players named McDavid and Draisaitl in that series against Edmonton.
What? Like, did he watch the same series I watched? Kubalik had 6 points in that series against Edmonton, 5 of which came in the first game, which means he only had 1 point in the final 3 games. I mean, it was like the series-clinching goal, but still. McDavid had 9 points in that series, 5 of them being goals. Draisaitl had 6 points. Like, I wouldn't be saying Kubalik outplayed either of those two players with any confidence. And I'm biased.
And then you look at Jokiharju and his play in Buffalo, and it already looks like a trade that was won by Buffalo. Jokiharju would be very useful to have right now if you're Chicago, and would give them greater depth on the blue line.
So he's kind of talking about the Nylander-Jokiharju trade and how Nylander has struggled and how it would be nice to have Jokiharju for depth on the blue line. But he doesn't really mention, or maybe he doesn't understand, that the reason why Jokiharju was deemed expendable and therefore tradable was because the Blackhawks have another right-handed defensive prospect in Ian Mitchell that they feel is going to be even better than Jokiharju. And he's a player that's going to be factoring in at possibly getting a roster spot this upcoming year. And he has 3 years left on his entry-level deal, where Jokiharju only has 1, so that actually works out pretty well in the Hawks' favor right now. Look, I'm not a big fan of that trade either, but there's reasons why the Hawks made it, and they're not really in that bad of a spot because of that trade. So I'm going to stop it right there. I think you get what I'm trying to say with this video. Like I said, the Hockey Guy, his videos, his content, his channel, it's great for high-level information, but it has its limitations. If you want to be more informed on a certain team or topic, you're going to have to search out complementary channels or creators or sources, those who have maybe a little bit more knowledge of the team or topic at hand, or at least have the ability and the time to share with you that additional knowledge that the Hockey Guy just doesn't have time to do. Like I said, this isn't an attack on Shannon. I'm a subscriber as well. I obviously watch his videos as well. I just felt it was important to get the idea out there of getting your information from multiple sources, because one source may not give you the entire picture. And I feel like this is even more important, especially with the elections coming up, here in the United States. Get your information from multiple sources, otherwise you might be missing something. I hope you understand why I made this video. I hope you found some sort of enjoyment or got something out of it. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that. Leave a comment down below if you want to as well. I read all of those, even if they're kind of mean. I'll still read them. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you then.